Hey guys, my name is Marina and this is your monthly forecast for Scorpio for the period between the 20th of March and the 19th of April. Basically, this is the period when we are having the transit sun in Aries. So this whole period, during this whole period, the transit sun will be in your 6th house. And in some way, this should be the most important area of your life where you can make some changes, where there might be, a lot of focus, a lot of attention, and also some positive changes, because the sun is the planet that brings, light to something that can bring joy to your life, and you can experience some really positive events in this area. And sixth house is related with your work, with your daily routines, with your responsibilities. So probably you should really focus on these topics during this whole period, because there might be just a lot of things that you need to take care of. We should say that sixth house is not really the house related with entertainments, with parties, with having real fun. So probably the month won't be about that. The month is more to focus on the things that you really should do, that the things that you have to do. They may not be so pleasant for you, but with the transit sun there, it might be easier for you to take care of all of it. And actually, you should really focus on that, because otherwise, the situation can force you in some way. The transit sun is in Aries, which suggests that there should be a lot of new energy for you, like a new boost in this area of your life. Especially after the 27th, when we have also a new moon in Aries in your 6th house, you can feel really inspired to take, to start something new, to, put a lot of efforts on something, to take some risks in this area of your life. And as I said, we are mainly talking about your work and career, about your responsibilities, and about your health as well, which is also related with 6th house. And from the 20th until the 31st, actually we have a few planets in Aries. We have the transit sun with the new moon, which means that for a few days even the moon is there. Also we have the retrograde Venus, Mercury and Uranus. So these are really a lot of, this is really a very strong fire energy and cardinal energy as well. So that should bring you a real boost in your activities. For people, for example, who have been unemployed, the new moon there can bring an opportunity for starting a new job. And with the transit Venus retrograde in the same sign and house, for example, this can come, this can be related with your past. For example, a colleague that you have previously worked with can, get in touch with you. You can receive an offer. And of course, this can all be quite unexpected because of Uranus at the same time in 6th house in Aries. So try to get the best out of it. Try to take the risks that you have, think about in the past, but you have postponed, or you haven't had, the courage to take to take these actions. Now is a really great time to think about the past and to find what needs to be corrected in your work, what needs to be changed in your projects. And actually this can put the beginning of something really important for you and something new, because of the Aries energy, that is the energy of the new beginnings, the energy of the innovations. After that, on the 31st, we have the transit Mercury entering Taurus and your 7th house. So the transit Mercury in 7th house suggests that this can be a more active period to communicate with others, to, get in touch with other people, to take some ideas, some advices from other people. And this should be, in a more practical way, in some kind of materialistical way, because Mercury in Taurus actually requires from all of us to be more practical regarding our decisions, to be more focused even on finances, on achieving some stable results. So all of these things actually you can achieve by following the advice of another person or by communicating with other people, but close communications, including romantic relationships and your serious partnerships. After that, on the 3rd of April, we have the transit Venus, which is retrograde, going back to Pisces in your 5th house. And actually, this transit is affecting mostly the area of romantic relationships. It's pretty possible that an old relationship can be restarted, especially if it has been something like flirting with someone. If you haven't been in a really serious relationship, which is more related with 7th house, but instead if it was more like, flirting, getting to know each other in the past, but for some reason if you have, life has separated you with this person, now you can re-establish this communication. You can restart this communication. It's possible that you can meet this person by chance occasionally, or you can decide to contact with such person, and generally something positive may turn from this. You should be aware that at the same time it's not a beneficial time for starting something totally new. For example, if you're interested in someone in a romantic way, it's not the time to reveal your feelings. It's not the time to, ask the person on a first date or something like that. Another thing that you should be aware of is that 5th house is related with art, with creativity. So if you're working in this area, you should be more careful during the retrograde Venus in your 5th house, because your projects may not be so fluent. Things might be stuck in some way, or might be challenged, or it might be difficult for you to communicate with your partners who are included in this creative or artistic projects. And after that, so on the 5th, we have the transit Saturn turning retrograde in Sagittarius in your 2nd house. As we know, Saturn is the planet of responsibilities, of obligations, in most cases also with possible restrictions and delays. And Saturn in 2nd house actually activates very much your financial situation, your financial area. So it's possible that, for example, while Saturn is stationary, so a few days around this time, so a few days around the 5th of April, the energy, of the planet is very strong. It's very focused and intense. So it's possible that you may have some financial challenges, or you may need to take some financial decisions, and it needs to be, you need to be more responsible regarding this area. You should definitely avoid spending money and, wasting your money on something which is not worth it, because if you do that, Saturn may punish you, because Saturn requires to be really responsible about this area. So be careful with your finances. Don't waste on something that, don't spend your money on something that you don't really need right now. And after that, on the 9th, we have the transit Mercury going retrograde in Taurus in your 7th house. So as we said, Mercury activates very much the area of relationships, and generally, this period of the retrograde Mercury in 7th house suggests that your relationships may not be so fluent. There might be some complications. There might be, difficult communication, especially with your partner, especially in your serious relationships, or, close communications with friends, even business partners. You should be careful. You should definitely avoid important business negotiations. You should definitely avoid taking important decisions, like taking concrete steps in the area of relationships. or at least you should be aware that everything you start right now, especially in this area of your life, will probably be changed and reconsidered after Mercury goes direct, which is after 3 weeks. And generally try to avoid, taking important steps in this area of your life. After that, on the 11th, we have a full moon in Libra and Aries, which falls in your 12th and 6th house. And the full moon will actually activate even more the area of your work, which we already discussed, your 6th house. You may need to change something, you can have a clearer idea about the situation in your work. At the same time, the full moons are the time when we can achieve like a material realization of something in this area of our life. So you can have some material results, some visible results in your work. And at the same time, this full moon activates also the area of your health. So this is a great time to take care of your health, to start a new regime, to, quit something which is unhealthy for you, change your diet as well, and generally try to improve your health and your physical condition. At the same time, you may need to spend more time working instead of taking a rest, because this opposition 6th, 12th house means that you need to find the balance between work and rest, between taking care of all the responsibilities and staying on your own, isolating yourself, and just doing something on private, something for yourself. And there might be a conflict between these two polarities, and you should focus more on your work, on your responsibilities, where the sun is. And after that, things should, they can be shifted, and something new can come up in this area of your life. And finally, on the 14th, we have the transit Venus going direct in your in Pisces, in your 5th house. So if there were some complications in your romantic relationships, or as we said, for people working in the area of art and creativity, now the things should improve. The situation should become easier, things should go back to normal. It's again a positive time for new romantic relationships, for being more open to other people, revealing your feelings, spending time on the things that actually you enjoy, that brings joy in your life. Also, the Venus going direct should improve your work, the area of your work and career, because most of the time Venus was retrograde in Aries in your 6th house, which suggests that there might have been some complications in this area. You might have been over emotional regarding everything in your work, and you might have even exaggerated in some way unnecessarily things. And now after Venus goes direct, things should go back to normal. You should feel more balanced and not so emotional regarding this area of your life. So generally, that's a great month for you to focus on work, to take care of all the responsibilities and obligations, and to put an order in your life. And of course, take some initiatives and start projects as well, because we have the transit sun in Aries and so much fire energy, which should inspire you and boost the energy around you. So these were the most important transits during this period. Thank you very much for watching, and see you around.